Colonel Roy Campbell here. Do not turn the game console off. The mission has not failed, because you are listening to Raw Dogs. You have a mission. Listen up. Enjoy. Roy Campbell, out.
Holding back a lot. Let's put that out there.
I try and hold back because I know at some point in my life I have to talk about Mortal Kombat characters even more. It's what we have dictated to be our punishment in life, what we have to do, what we are fortunate enough to do because...
Fortune.
All jokes aside, I have almost...
Oh, this is something a dad would drink.
Oh, and it's got a great mouthfeel. If you're just joining us, welcome to Raw Dogs. This is the Patreon exclusive continuation to our Mortal Kombat episode, two-parter.
Yeah.
And we are, of course, a podcast that talks way too much about Mortal Kombat and other video game topics sometimes, and we drink beer. And Dylan is drinking the new beer from Eagle Park, the Fishing for Fishies.
I'm honored to be trying it. It's very good.
That just came out yesterday in six-packs.
We've never had anything bad to say about Eagle Park Brewing.
No, I guess
and that's not just because it's not just because you work there. We actually thought this beforehand too.
I was going to say they do have one bartender who's way too hairy, and he has a podcast and he talks a lot.
I don't think I've ever felt like I would have this many opinions on Mortal Kombat characters.
There's just so many. There's like 75. There's maybe 75 different characters.
It's wild.
And they run the
77.
gamut. It'd be cool to see every list of the characters done out, and I would be curious how many of them I could put an image to, because I can probably identify most by pictures.
I'm definitely going to have to look at some of these pictures as we are talking.
When we left off last time, we were talking about Mortal Kombat 5, Deadly Alliance. Raiden was told as an elder god he could not intervene in this scenario, so he actually relinquishes his status because another bonehead move. You're an elder god, stay out of this. No. I like the Earth Realm, I'm going down.
It's kind of noble though, right?
It's noble if Raiden hadn't fucked up so many other things before, I guess.
He's the Superman character.
And we were talking about all of these new characters that people just love so much from these games.
Like...
Well, we had mentioned Blaze. I
have to look up Blaze.
I think his character looks a little better as they get into Armageddon.
Oh, wow.
It's interesting, though, that they brought him into Deadly Alliance, even though he was a hidden character.
Okay.
And then we do have the character of Bo Raicho, which some people put
I love him.
Some people put him on the list of bad characters. And
why?
I don't know.
He's so interesting. Dude, drunken fist-style fart man?
Drunken, obese,
yes.
fist-style fart man.
That's literally how cool he is.
He's like if Wario was really noble and did the right thing.
I mean, he's my favorite character aside from Leatherface in 10.
That's high praise. Leatherface is always the first character I stop by.
Yeah. I mean, I love I famously love serial killers, and he's based off of Ed Gein, and I can't help but love it.
You know, I'm happy that they have not at this point, you know, outside of the DC Universe thing, tried to work RoboCop into a story or the Predator into a story.
I mean, RoboCop he does have an arcade ending.
I mean,
apparently Kano was selling like drugs to people in Detroit, and that's why RoboCop goes after him in arcade mode. Yes, that's it.
I'm going to find you, Kano.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bo Raicho, interesting note. Baracho means drunk. I've known that from every pizza place I've worked. They called me Baracho.
Oh.
Yep. And of course,
high praise.
The new characters.
They call you Baracho
means drunk
in
Spanish. It's Spanish.
Oh, okay.
He owns a very large brewery in Outworld.
All right.
Okay, Baracho Brewing.
I like him more.
Dude, they have to drink out there.
It's weird that he knows Drunken Fist, even though he lives in Outworld.
And well, I think he travels between realms quite a bit too.
Oh, so he's like powerful too? I like him a lot.
Because he trains Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
In which installment?
All of them.
Really?
He's the one who trains Liu Kang to be a fighter.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
He just seemed kind of like a weird middle-aged man.
Because he briefly shows up in the current timeline. Raiden's like, it's good to see you again. And Baraj's like, man, what's up, man?
That was 10, right?
And that's there's not much more to him. It's one of those things where everyone respects him, but they have very low expectations of him.
Honestly, like, if you want to school someone you're facing up against, friend-wise, and you're playing, like, local multiplayer, farting on someone's probably the sickest thing you can do.
Yeah. It's a power move.
It's rad.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I use it on Carly sometimes.
Yeah, the Dutch oven move. Side B, left.
Only a few times.
Oh, yeah.
So only 4 characters from Deadly Alliance actually are ever seen again after Deadly Alliance. And, of course, Armageddon, which has to include everybody. But it's Frost, Kenshi, Bo Raicho, and Li Mei. So we know Frost is the apprentice for Sub-Zero. She overreaches, thinks she's a master. She's actually a donk, and she tries to steal his badge of honor, and she can't control the power, and she freezes herself. And she sucks. And then we, of course, Li Mei. All you can really find out about her character is she's trying to protect her village.
She's also the purple one. I mean, look at that body, though. Oh, and she's just trying to protect her village.
She protects her village.
Is this literally just a case of we need to fill out the roster a little bit? Because if someone had like a decent idea for her, don't you think she would be a little more interesting?
For Blaze, there was the hidden character in the background too. And what they do like to do, if there was like a rumor in a video game magazine, this character's back there, they do like to eventually work them into the lore, because that's kind of a fun callback to an extent.
Seems a little pandery, but
it's
more
walking a line.
It's Mortal Kombat, I guess. It doesn't really matter.
Whoever designed Bo Raicho, give that person a raise.
He's cool.
Yep.
He's real cool.
The drunken style of fighting. Drunken Master is one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies.
Oh, yeah. It's some of the best stunt work he's ever done.
It's fantastic. Dude, like that he has to get drunk in order to fight better. I love that aspect of his fight.
Jackie Chan's a trained dancer, singer, like, it's ballet. It's beautiful.
And he can like walk over hot coals if he's drunk enough. And
I can do a lot of things if I'm drunk enough.
So we have Draman, who I have to look this way. He's just the meat sack with the mask and the rock arm. Drahmin.
Yeah. I'm
not on Rule 34.
Actually, you know what?
Don't do it.
We're doing it right now. Rule 34. We're doing this live.
He's pretty much naked anyways.
Oh. Okay.
Is there things on Rule 34 for him?
Oh, I'm on Google image search. That's the problem.
Don't do that.
Hold on. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm an adult, I think. Oh, wow.
It's the Molochs on that boy. But are you seeing what Draman looks like?
Yeah, I know what he looks like now.
That character design is horrible.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad. If you want to design a demon of any sort, there's a million demons you could design. To give him one like club arm and a mask is bad.
He's also kind of weird, like Oni mask.
I do like the thought of Frost being Sub-Zero's apprentice. I love Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka being Anakin's apprentice. It's interesting when a character is trying to bestow their knowledge and it goes wrong. Although Frost kind of just sucks from the get-go.
I mean, actually, like Ahsoka's the best example of that.
Ahsoka's the right one, but it's interesting when a character has an apprentice. Frost goes wrong. I don't care for her design too much. I don't like the name. I think the name might be the problem.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, so in DC, there's a character called Killer Frost, too. And it's all I could think about. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think she's an injustice.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure. They did make action figures of Draman.
Oh, no. The mask looks cooler on the action figure. It's still bad, but...
Yeah, it's really bad.
It looks like someone took a mask from another figure and put it on their other figure.
Oh, here's one without the mask.
That's better.
That's
better. That looks like
right,
a Doom bad guy almost.
Yeah. He looks like
keep the mask off.
He looks like the demon with the two shoulder rockets.
And then next is Hsu Hao. We can all agree that it is one of the worst designs ever. That is
hold on,
like the half vampire M Bison guy with the pencil mustache.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? They could have made him cool if they had tried.
Yeah, character was weak. Then you have Kenshi, one of the greatest design characters.
He looks like Daredevil from the TV.
Looks like Daredevil with a sword.
That's cool. I'm sick.
I think everybody agrees Kenshi's great.
Kenshi rules.
Li Mei, pretty weak. Outworld Villager.
I don't understand her.
There's nothing interesting. You have Movado. Not an interesting design.
This was in an era when everything was kind of becoming the same thing. You know, like the Call of Duty brown aesthetic was becoming really popular, and gritty realism was kind of the desired norm that people were going for. He is definitely a mid-2000s character.
It's a shame when a character design is so of its time. It's like Devil May Cry trying to redesign Dante. It's like, you didn't need to.
I liked DMC.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. It was a redesign for a character that people didn't want redesigned.
He looked like an actual person. I was okay with it.
Movado was the Red Dragon leader.
Oh, yeah.
We already mentioned Moloch, Dramon's buddy. Just another demon. Natara, Outworld Vampire with big boobs. The only other new character we haven't mentioned is Mocap.
Mocap.
Mokap. You know who he is,
Danny Pacina.
Carlos Pacina.
Fuck.
But you were half right.
It's last names, man.
And people like to put Mocap in the list of worst characters ever.
I think he's fun.
Now, as a character design, there's not much design. It's just a guy in a mocap suit.
Yeah.
But the fact that this guy shows up to tournaments, like, that's it. I'm here. I guess I'll do it. I appreciate him.
Canonically, doesn't he do like stunt work for Johnny Cage in certain movies?
He's the motion capture actor for Johnny Cage in some movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm into it. I think it's fun. If you take all this stuff too serious, if you're taking Mortal Kombat seriously, and I don't want to insult our fans.
Dude, Hsu Hao does not need the likes of Mocap in his fucking video game.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, the truth here is if you can't have like a decent lighthearted opinion on this, I don't know what to tell you, dude. You're probably taking a lot of things too seriously in your life. So let's just agree that having some fun characters is pretty cool. Think of Piranha Plant from Smash Brothers.
I want to Google as soon as we're done. Whoever has like the biggest Mortal Kombat collection, I want to see someone's house with 77 different framed character portraits of every character, because it must exist, and I wonder what it looks like.
You know what?
If we put all these characters in front of Ed Boon, could he name them all? Definitely not. I'm saying definitely not.
And you know, collection is with a K.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and the other C in there. We're going to put a K on that, too.
Even though it's not phonetic.
What else happened during the course of Deadly Alliance?
I do not know.
Noob Saibot found Cyber Smoke and made him his servant. So
that is the laziest naming convention I've ever seen in my life.
Noob Saibot?
Yeah, it's their last names backwards.
Well, dude, that was a joke character that eventually they're like, well, it's actually Bihan eventually, which I think is a cool thing for his character, but
sure. But Noob Saibot.
I guess he should make more sense. He
should have been a robot.
Yeah. And use Psy.
I always sigh.
Scorpion is, of course, thrown into the Soulnado by Moloch and Dramon. He lands in the void where the Elder Gods make a deal with him because they know Blaze is about to be a real big problem.
Right.
So they choose Scorpion as their champion. What's really exciting is, so Natara, the vampire, and Cyrax do find the dragon egg. So she upholds her end of the bargain. She sends Cyrax back to Earth. Mm-hmm. Reptile is still following after them because Reptile's just like that dog who just follows anyways. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He's a minion. He's the definition of it.
I think Reptile's not a bad boy. She breaks the dragon egg, which almost a dragon age. She breaks the dragon egg and she gets sent back to the vampire realm. And
I think the second one already did
that. That's good. But the dragon egg then shoots Reptile, who's just the one standing there.
Oh, no.
And he becomes Onaga, the Dragon King's vessel.
I mean, it's appropriate.
It's appropriate. It fits there.
I'm going to look up Onaga because I can't picture him in my head.
And this is what, of course, awakens Blaze, who was guarding the dragon egg.
Oh, Blaze.
Jax tears out Hsu Hao's heart. The Deadly Alliance beat almost every hero. Almost every hero is killed by them. Onaga, the Dragon King, returns. Quan Chi and Shang Tsung are fighting each other when he shows up. Mm-hmm. And then this is after they already almost killed Raiden. When Onaga shows up, Raiden, Shang Tsung, and Quan Chi work together to fight Onaga. They fail. And then Raiden decides his best move is to blow himself up to try and kill Onaga.
Another great idea from Raiden.
You know what's funny? What he ends up doing is not killing anyone, except I think Shang Tsung might die. He even comes back, though, too. Everyone survives, but everyone always lives. Dies from this. You know, that's pretty much where Deadly Alliance leaves off. Now, Mortal Kombat 6 Deception sucks. Have you heard of the character Shujinko?
Yeah, I'm about to.
I think Deception must be the first one where they really try and worked in a story mode with an RPG element. So Shujinko's story, which it's kind of an action fighting story that goes along. It starts decades before Mortal Kombat 1. He's trained by Bo Rai Cho, and a spiritual entity called Damashi, claiming to be an elder god, visits him and says, "Dude, you're great. We like you. We're choosing you to be the chosen one.
Oh.
And we want you to help us find the Kamidogu. There's one in each realm, and you're the guy."
What the hell's a Kamidogu?
The elder gods split up the one being. Mm-hmm. They broke up the realms, and there's also 6 Kamidogu, one in each realm.
Oh, God.
They kind of divide the one being's power. And this Shujinko guy is told, yeah, you're the guy. We need you to get these Kamidogu back. Before Mortal Kombat 1 to all the way to Mortal Kombat 6, this character interacts with all of our favorite different characters, such as Ermac and Sindel, Ashra. All of these characters collecting the Kamidogu. He kind of interacts with all of these different characters and kind of teaches you a little bit. This ultimately leads to him collecting all of them before he finds out that he collects them all, and then Damashi, the spirit, says, "Yo, dude, I was Onaga the whole time, bro."
Oh, man, fuck.
Shujinko, he's also on the list of some of the worst characters ever because all he does is help resurrect an evil person.
I mean, like, I'm fine with it, but here's my problem.
Yeah.
They knew when they made Mortal Kombat 9 that they couldn't get away with a full reboot, but they knew they had to reboot it anyway because
they
of
were beyond
shit like this.
And they've even had to work into the Mortal Kombat 10 comic series. In a throwaway line, we'll get down there, but a certain character was told, you actually have to go kill the Shujinko guy because some battle happened later. It might have been Raiden. Because they didn't want Onaga to happen again, so Onaga can't come back because Shujinko was killed.
Man, I did see because I was looking through images of him, I probably saw that panel.
Yeah, and I guess if Shujinko's killed, then probably Blaze won't come back too, but let's talk about some of the new characters from Deception.
Sure.
So we have Ashra, Ashrah.
Ashra.
She's got kind of an okay story. She looks kind of like a female Raiden. Definitely not a god. She is actually a demon seeking redemption by killing other demons, trying to become a good character.
She's got a nice hat.
She doesn't have a terrible design.
Yeah, that's not awful.
And she wants... Shujinko is convinced by... I think it's Ermac or Noob Saibot to help them to destroy a stone so they're powerful, and then they can defeat Ashra. So fuck you again, Shujinko. We have Dai Rao.
I think I've seen this one.
Another character famously on a lot of the worst lists. So the Order realm kind of sucks.
I call him Five Head.
If Krillin sucked, but Krillin rocks. But if Krillin sucks. The Order realm, this is the only game you really see the Order realm at all. Hotaru is kind of the super fascist leader. He's like, we need order, and we will force you to have order. And Dairu, however you want to say it, is his subordinate. Oh, actually, he's his former subordinate. He's hired by Darius to assassinate Hotaru.
Okay. These characters are so bland, so unmemorable. Literally, Hotaru is he just kind of looks like Raijin.
He's like Fujin with flags.
Fujin, that's what I meant to say. But he's got flags on his back. And what is that proving? And what is that even showing?
He's easier to see and salute from far away.
Yeah, I guess it's a big ass sign that says, "Hey, I'm the general. Come kill me first."
Darius is, I think, an okay design.
Let's take a looky, Lou.
He is the leader of the resistance in the Order realm. Essentially, he's just a hero fighting oppression. Hotaru is definitely the bad guy there, and Darius.
He's just Wesley Snipes in Blade. He's even got wrist blades. Appropriate.
The only new character that I like that's introduced here in 6 Deception is Havoc. He is the cleric of chaos in the Chaos realm.
You like him?
I don't know if I love his design so much as I love that he's the only Chaos realm character we have.
Well, he's funny because he doesn't have any lips.
I mean, he's not a super great design.
I mean, there's something going on there. At least
I don't know. I think almost the more lame design of just like a guy with a what kind of weapon is that?
A mace, a morning star.
Just the design of a guy with no lips and a morning star as the cleric of chaos. Just the fact that he's the cleric of chaos who just
Cleric of chaos.
dude, he just was like, oh, I hate it when books are organized by alphabetical order.
I mean, is that literally his charge?
He hates order. He wants nothing but chaos everywhere.
Havoc.
He's Professor Chaos.
I get it. Havoc. Like Havoc. Oh, but spelled different.
He doesn't have a ton of. Well, we can't just spell like regular Havoc. So what are we gonna do?
It's like, I don't know, we spell all C's with K's anyway. It doesn't fucking matter.
You got it.
Buddy.
Give this guy an extra K on his raise.
Dude, is he also deceptive? Because he's gonna be in that game. Dude has an action figure as well.
I'm sure they all have action figures, and somebody owns all of them.
Oh, I am so anxious to see that specifically.
If you are listening to this episode and you think you have one of the biggest Mortal Kombat collections, please email us or reach out. We would love to do a YouTube interview and feature your collection and ask you all about everything you have.
Oh, I have so many questions.
That would be endlessly fascinating to us. Okay, so
Just tell me you've got a Darius figure.
We briefly mentioned Hotaru. I do kind of appreciate the character of the crazed zealot who just wants order. I can see that delusion of a good guy becoming a bad guy.
Right.
Although the character design is weak. And then we're getting to some of the weakest character design. Because Havoc found the wounded Cabal and convinced him to re-lead the Black Dragons. Mm-hmm. And the two new members of the Black Dragon are some of the worst. Kira.
I know this one.
Kira is just a lady recruited by Cabal. And Cobra.
I know Cobra, yeah.
Yep. He's just Ken from Street Fighter.
You know, I think I figured out exactly why all these suck so bad. There's no color choice.
What do you mean?
There's no actual... There are hints of, you know, like a red or a blue in like their clothing kind of slightly. But Mortal Kombat used to be this colorful 90s... I don't know, it had a swagger to it.
It became kind of bland. It all blends into the background.
Exactly, but this is like bland to the extreme. This just... I get why they made Kira. She's probably a Sonya Blade rival type character.
One thing I thought that was interesting is that Mortal Kombat Armageddon has every character up to that point in the game.
So it's the Smash Ultimate of it.
The worst way, though, in the opposite of the good way. But what's interesting is that every character has an ending. And so that informs a lot about what these characters want.
Right.
Cobra's ending is Cobra was now the leader, and all he wanted was to rule with Kira. I'm like, oh, he's just a lonely guy. He just wants a girlfriend. And then...
So he conquers shit to do it?
Well, I don't know. It just seems sad to me that one of his main goals was just to have Kira hang out with him. And then she kills him or something. Like, she ends up killing him. And the lesson was, don't fuck with the older gods. I mean, Cobra sucks, but...
There's a lot of fan art about her, but she's basically Harley Quinn.
The look is very Harley Quinn, yes.
Kind of the modern incarnation of her too. So it's really hook, line, and sinker. Obviously, there's a lot of people with a fetish for Harley Quinn, so I can imagine Kira did pretty well as well.
Those are the new characters from Deception. Of course, we also have Onaga and Shujinku.
Onaga looks bad.
He's not interesting in any capacity.
He's also gray and brown. Like, that's like his look.
Give him some very distinct light blue with like some lines on him, some other colored lines.
He kind of looks like a less interesting version of the main character from Gargoyles.
That nice light purple.
Yeah, but way less interesting because no color or anything.
I remember Gargoyles and loving that shit.
Loved Gargoyles. Yes, dude. Had a few action figures.
Had a couple games too. At least one.
Never played the games.
A lot of returning characters. I guess, it's... Ermac becomes a good guy during this game.
Of course.
He runs into Kenshi, and Kenshi kind of helps him get through his problems. So Raiden reanimates Liu Kang because he just goes crazy, and he just wants the good guys to start winning. It's interesting that you have the reanimated body of Liu Kang doing the work of Raiden, but you also have Liu Kang's warrior soul existing. And luckily,
what is this, the holy fucking Trinity?
Sometimes. Ermac, though, can communicate with souls, and Liu Kang's soul communicates with him and helps him free all of the good guys who are under the control of Onaga, which is Kung Lao, Katana, Jax, Sonya, and Johnny Cage are all under Onaga's control.
Oh, boy. I love Ermac. What a classic character. He does so many things.
Unfortunately, Shujinko is the savior of this game.
Of course he is.
He absorbs, because he was given the power from
He needs
Damashi.
that's his character arc. He needs revenge.
He fucks up the entire time and then does one thing right, but his ability is to absorb the powers of anyone he defeats. So he absorbs the power of everybody that shows up to the battle, and then he uses that to defeat Onaga. Sector was creating cyber ninjas. Frost was still alive. Well, Sub-Zero thought he buried her when she was dead. Turns out she was still alive.
Oy.
Okay.
What?
You know what's great about Mortal Kombat 7 Armageddon, besides nothing?
What?
There's only 3 new characters. One of them technically was earlier.
Oh.
Because this game...
What are the new ones in this one?
This game shtick was, everybody's here. Hashtag Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I can think of. But it's also like, how do you balance a fighting game with that many characters and you're not Sakurai?
And also, the first thought was, we don't want to bring Hsu Hao back. Can we not? Nope. Everybody's here.
Everybody's here.
And that one guy who loves Hsu Hao says, finally.
It's like, oh, shit.
I love that fucking hat and that stupid chest thing and that pencil mustache.
It's all really bad JPEGs that he prints out, and it's just all across his room.
No frames, just shitty, low quality images blown way up too big.
There's a manuscript on his table, and it reads, The Conspiracy Against Hsu Hao.
10,000 pages.
Yes, exactly. But and he's just like, you can just picture him like sweating, convulsing.
I'm pretty sure
as
that
he hears the news.
The longest piece of fiction is a Smash Brothers fanfic, which has gone on for way too long.
I know there's a couple Sonic and Mario crossover erotic ones that have gone on way too long.
I'm into that, yeah.
No, I know you are, but it's basically
That's
Sonic
rule number 1.
It's basically Sonic cucking Mario, but you know.
You're not fast enough, not cool enough for me, Mario.
It's like, I'll simply touch your breast, Peach. Yeah.
I'll show you my tail. All the way to the third knuckle.
I'm not even sure what a hedgehog penis looks like.
Neither am I. Just kidding.
Want to find out? So the 3 characters are...
But wait. Okay. Just bear with me for 1 second while I read you a brief synopsis of what happens before Armageddon.
Okay.
Delia of Edenia, years before, sees a vision of a final battle and tells her husband, Argus, the leader of Edenia, that they must put their sons, Taven and Dagon, into stasis. This is the plan to stop Armageddon. They're going to take their 2 sons, put them into stasis with separate dragons guarding them, and then the warrior Blaze will awaken them when the time is right. And they are going to hide armor and a sword for each person in different areas. And these brothers will awaken, have to claim their armors and then their swords. And then they will go to a pyramid they're building where all the warriors will show up. And Taven and Dagon will have to fight each other to determine who can fight Blaze. And then whoever can beat Blaze will bring peace to the universe.
What?
This was the plan. All of a sudden, though, the dragon guarding Dagon awakens early. So he's pissed off and he's confused and he kills his parents. So Dagon's the bad brother. There's Dagon and Taven. Taven is the hero and the older brother. Dagon awakens early and kills the parents. So Taven awakens at the appropriate time and has to go find all the items. Smoke and Noob Saibot are doing shit. Frost is doing shit. Dagon reveals that he was awoken so early he created the Red Dragon clan so long ago. So he's been around for a while.
Okay.
But Taven is the hero and the older brother. Dagon is the evil younger brother. Neither of the characters are interesting in any capacity.
So Dagon is just a low-rent Shao Kahn without the helmet.
And that even that might be being generous.
And then Taven is just... he's got the half goatee, and then he's got, I don't know, amulets.
I mean, that's it. That's all he's got.
And like a scar on the top right side of his head. All right. This is the point where I feel like because I'm not a huge fan of any of this, right?
Yeah.
I think I've really locked down what Mortal Kombat is.
Hey, what do we got?
I've got, and I feel like, because I understand this fandom to a degree,
Yeah.
but I keep trying to relate it to something else, and I think I've got it. And I think Mortal Kombat is just pro wrestling. I think that's it. Like the melodrama of it.
If pro wrestling was mixed with
Right.
Guar,
Yes.
yeah.
But that's it. It's this really deep melodrama. Everyone's entertained by it, but it's not fucking Shakespeare.
It's where we're here for the fights and the story doesn't matter.
You're here for the fights. The story frames it,
Yeah.
and it gives you context for why the fights are happening.
And sadly, one of the most exciting things of every interaction of characters
Yes.
is their one line of shit talking
Yep.
and their one line of I beat you.
Theatrics.
It's all the theatrics.
It's all theatrics. And that's all that this has ever been. And that's
why
all.
Johnny Cage succeeds so much, probably, is because
he's
not
like-
only can he fight, but
Yeah.
he's the best at shit talking.
He's a John Cena, The Rock, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even know that much about pro wrestling, but I knew I wasn't a fan of it the first few times I saw it.
I liked it more than I should have.
I think I get where they're going, but this is probably the dark ages of Mortal Kombat then.
These are very much the dark ages because I don't believe a lot of people followed.
Nobody knows who Taven or Dagon is.
Well, and I mean, maybe I am looking through my own, my
There's a
blinders.
reason-
If you're listening to this and you have strong opinions or feelings about these games, let us know because we haven't played a lot of them.
No, yeah.
Of the middle trilogy, we'll call it.
And if you can actually describe to me what the appeal of these are, I would be more than happy to read this on air. If you want to email us at Hair of the Dogcast, I would love to actually read that.
And another character is called Serena. This is her first time playable.
Sailor Moon.
Sareena. She's from Mortal Kombat Mythologies originally.
Which I almost bought once.
I unfortunately did play it for a while. It's aged very poorly and it wasn't good when it came out.
Oh, wowie caboodles. She's just a goth chick with bad taste. She's got like that gray stripe and a leather outfit, just like every other fucking woman in this game, with a giant space for her boobies to show.
Well, I mean, that's great because it's probably really hot where she's fighting and it'll help her out.
But then you wouldn't wear leather, would you?
No, it's pleather.
Yeah.
With a K.
Serena.
Somehow with a K. It's pleather with a K.
Oh, Serena's real life actress? There was someone who she was modeled after? I can't get into this right now.
So I put returning characters, everyone.
Everyone.
But you know what's fun? The people doing the models for every character, they got to Motaro.
Motaro. Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
You know what I'm talking about here, right?
The centaur.
But do you know what they did because they didn't want to make a centaur?
No.
So the Shokan have cursed the centaurs, and now they just have horse front legs. They don't have back legs. Motaro isn't it like he just is a fawn now. He's not a centaur.
Oh, no.
They didn't want to go through. They didn't know how to do it, so they said, "Oh, they were cursed."
The concept art looks so good. I just don't understand. And then he had that cool like cybernetic tail.
Yep. Nope.
That shit rules.
I think he still has the tail. He doesn't have the back legs though.
They didn't feel like programming a horse body.
I mean, I don't know. They're making 70 characters or whatever. That's a lot. I'm not saying that it's an out, but they have a lot that they're doing there.
I don't know, man. I played Red Dead Redemption 2 and I saw balls and I saw poop coming out of that asshole.
And this was the first time we did see some chameleon characters showing up.
Which chameleon?
Well, I mean, both chameleons did technically show up in Mortal
There's one
Kombat
with
trilogy.
a CH and there's one with a K.
How fucking dumb is that?
Well, the one with the K is the girl,
female,
right?
and she actually is the one that has any character.
Well,
She's the last female Zaterran,
Now,
so
hold-
Reptile would really like to meet her.
But also, it just reminds me of Charade from Soul Calibur.
Not familiar with Charade.
Charade is like this ball of energy that can adopt any fighting style, and it's random. So when you pick Charade, it doesn't matter. It's basically a handicap. So like if your brother's really good at Soul Calibur, then he picks Charade because he's like, I can still whoop your ass. I don't have to care. So Charade.
Yeah.
He's got a little less HP anyway, so who gives a fuck? Did Chameleon mimic the person playing, like the other character?
Chameleon originated in Mortal Kombat trilogy. The male one is the CH, and he could do a lot of moves from different ones.
Okay.
But his color would change between all of them.
Oh.
It would actively, is like Joseph the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Female Chameleon was a color swap of the females.
Yeah.
But she is actually the last female Zaterran reptiles race.
Why don't they fuck?
They're tragically put on the opposite sides of the battle. And to me, if I was male reptile, I'd be like, I don't care. Let us go over there for a while.
My cloaca is ready to burst.
My nictitating membrane is nictitating.
Nictitating. Oh my God. I am ready to fertilize eggs. Please let me fertilize the eggs.
My cold blood runs hot.
There's fanfic out there for that, I promise.
Do not Google. Unless you want to, then Google it.
Oh, I
It's
will
fine.
be later.
We support
It's
you.
fine. I'll Google it for us.
And at the end of all of this debacle, Taven was supposed to win. But ultimately, Shao Kahn wins the battle here.
Wow. Should have been executed ages before.
This is when Raiden sends a message to his past self, and I just wrote down, here we go again.
Here we go again, Raiden.
Because
That's canon, too. That's crazy.
that
'Cause
Taven...
there has to be good endings to this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's different... there's 77 endings, but
Right, for the arcade.
the canon ending, though, is that Raiden and Shao Kahn are the last two alive.
Yeah.
And Shao Kahn beats Raiden, and Raiden sends a message to his past self. And apparently Kitana would have been able to stop him and bring peace had Raiden not intervened. But we didn't get that.
A prophecy that was fulfilled in 11.
Yeah, fuck Raiden, though. I don't know.
I have
Unless it's Christopher Lambert in the movie. 'Cause that is the
Yeah.
Raiden where I am 100% my man.
I mean, I'm into that aspect of it. It's the fact that he's a lightning god and they had to build a story around this. Let's be clear. They had an idea for a story, quote unquote, where it was a tournament that needed to happen. And then they made, characters that can do things. Mm-hmm. It's the reason Mario didn't have a story to begin with. It's like, he just kind of looks all right. Oh, but he jumps. Save the princess. Then that's it. But you didn't need this. All these characters were made in an era when you didn't have to have any of that backing to it. Mm-hmm. What does it matter? Like nobody was even thinking about that. This was still in an era. Like I keep talking with Matt about better in 3D. I keep saying like you don't understand. You still exist in a mind frame where you're thinking of video games as trinkets. They're no longer like trinkets. They're their own thing now, and they have weight to them. Back then, no, you're not going to get a story from a video game. Now it's pretty much the norm, unless it's a multiplayer only.
Yeah, this was the furthest that this timeline got. Mortal Kombat 1 through Mortal Kombat 7.
Now, canonically, how many years happened 1 through 7? Because with
let's just break it down. So I'd say Liu Kang has got to be 25, 30 at the beginning of Mortal Kombat 1.
I think he's like 22. That's my guess.
And here is our own little Zaterran
one of the
warrior.
podcasts.
The podcat, Martin, is up here on the table.
Martin,
He's about to meet his new little brother, Kenshi Baraka Boraicho Moloch Draman is going to be the full name. But
You're getting a boy one, huh? He's starting to develop a primordial pouch.
Yeah, it's actually part of the Netherrealm influence that he's going through. He's been listening to a lot of Draman music.
Turns out it's just a little sack of skin.
I was
near
like,
the crotch.
Shu, how did you get up here? Got him.
Got he.
I'm going to go ahead and call this the dark period. This last trilogy, 5, 6, and 7, there were not new great character designs for the most part. We have Kenshi, Boraicho. And that might be
That's it. Yeah.
the last ones that I really love. I think they were just kind of grasping at straws, and they didn't know what to do with the franchise to an extent.
I think they were on autopilot. That is going to be my guess. I think they were well intentioned. I don't know these developers though. I can't say for sure. I mean, the 2000s kind of wrecked a lot of things. Think about the X-Men. Like, they all just wore plain black leather, and things were less interesting story-wise.
We're talking about the movie.
I mean, the comics too.
Oh yeah,
big time. Yeah,
that's just a product of the time, though, to an extent too.
Yeah, but then that's why we find it so displeasurable. It's something that couldn't evolve out of its time period, or it evolved and nobody liked it.
It's definitely, there was this couple year period where it was what was good enough, and afterwards
Sure.
it was not what anyone wanted.
Look, you can tell the ones they think are mistakes just based off of this newer trilogy.
And just from the characters that they choose to keep around,
Yep.
almost none. And even then, they have opportunities to use those characters.
Mm-hmm.
We're using new ones.
See, but that's the thing then too. Like we were talking about in 10, how there's the combat kids is what we're going to call them.
We'll get to those combat kids.
And I just think that they knew. They throw spaghetti at the wall. If it doesn't stick, it's not ready to eat. You know what I mean?
We're going to throw 4 kids at the wall. Hopefully a couple of them stick.
Cassie and Jackie, that's it.
All right. So we've talked about Mortal Kombat 1 through 7, but there's another very little odd interquel which happens between the current timeline and the original timeline, and that's Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. So,
oh boy.
You know what's great, Dylan, is that I watched the hour-long story retelling today, and you didn't. And you know what's great about that, though? You know a shitload about the superheroes, so I can bounce off of you for some of this.
I know a lot about the characters themselves. DC is not my thing, unfortunately. Tell me about the story.
So it takes place immediately after Mortal Kombat 3, where Raiden is shooting Shao Kahn into a portal, and like at the same moment, Darkseid is being shot into a portal, and some universe fuckery happens, and then the universes start merging.
Okay.
And it happens slowly, so you can choose your side when it starts. And it's either, you're either choosing the DC heroes or Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, a double campaign.
Yeah, but eventually what happens is the Mortal Kombat characters, Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, Raiden, Liu Kang, Baraka, all of them agree.
They align with the bad guys.
They all agree that we have to save our universe. And then even Joker and Superman and Lex Luthor, Batman, Wonder Woman, they all agree we have to work together to try and save our universe. So they all start kind of fighting each other. There's some little mixing here and there.
Oh, God.
Joker. It's great watching Joker confront Scorpion, because Joker's all excited and sassy about it, and Scorpion just looks at him and walks away. He's like, no, pass on this one. And then Joker shoots him with a glove gun. And Scorpion says, you're fucking done. And he beats the shit out of Joker there. But
of course he does.
Yeah. It's
not a strong character, Joker.
But there's also this mixture of this rage, which is happening.
This isn't canon, though, either, is it?
It's like an alternate universe canon. It's technically happens, but then it unhappens at the end.
I remember people being very excited for this.
I knew a lot of friends who played the shit out of this game.
I understand Injustice. I do not understand this.
Well, it's Marvel versus Capcom, which is fun to watch Scorpion fight Superman.
Well, DC was not doing well at the time. I remember this specifically. I think DC was just desperate for any type of coverage for them because Marvel was killing it. When was this released?
For 2011, probably 2009, 2008.
Oh, it's. I think it's before I went to college.
It must be 2008.
Yes. So I was just in college around this time too.
And I think a lot of people just love the fighting mechanics. I mean, it holds up as far as a Mortal Kombat game goes. And this is, I think, the first instance where they have a story through line, which is interesting enough to watch, where they have chapters and characters that are unique and distinct and developed.
I think that was a mandate from DC that had to have been. You can't just have these characters fight for no reason. You can't have Batman do certain things.
They probably learned a lot from this. And it's great because Sub-Zero freezes Batman's arm and he thinks he's got him, and Batman just takes his arm and smashes it on the ground. He's like, no, that's not it, dude.
Fuck. Famously, too, a very non-violent version.
It is the most neutered Mortal Kombat outside of the Super Nintendo, like MK2 or whatever.
You can't brutalize these iconic characters. Even in Injustice, they mostly just get their ass kicked.
Yeah, well, Superman could do some mean fucking fatalities, but realistically, what he could do for them is nothing.
There's that famous.
He would like tattoo S on you and be like, "I'm so sorry. I hope it's not permanent." I overreacted there in a big way.
Well, like the coolest thing about Superman, I remember specifically, he should be the most overpowered character ever, first of all. But in the Bruce Timm produced DC animated universe, the final episodes of Justice League Unlimited, basically he's fighting Darkseid, if I'm correct. And Darkseid is like, what can you do? And he's like, I can do a lot more than this. I just don't want to hurt people.
Yeah.
I could like break a hole in the entire planet.
I could do a lot.
And so he just like unleashes on him for the first time and you actually see him do it. It's fucking rad as shit. Watch Justice League, by the way.
Also want to, I've never experienced Red Sun, and I'd love to do that where Superman lands in Russia instead. Or Red Sun?
It's good.
It's just an interesting what if. I love those what ifs. I'm curious about the MCU's what if series.
They call them Elseworlds when it's DC.
I'm excited for the MCU version of that.
Red Sun is really good. They're going to do some fun stuff with what ifs. They've got some of the actors back to do like, a 40-minute episode.
But Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, Sonya Blade actually chokeslams Green Lantern, and that's when my head broke and I said, this doesn't make sense to me.
She couldn't even if she wanted to.
He does say before, right when he shows up, my lantern doesn't seem to be working, or my ring's broken a little bit. Even then...
Brad, can I give you a little bit of a quiz?
That's what I want you to do right now.
Okay. What is Green Lantern's weakness?
Which one?
All Green Lanterns.
The color red.
The color yellow.
Fuck. I knew it was a color, though.
You were close. It's the color yellow.
Yeah.
Because for some reason it represents fear, like yellow bellied. I don't really get it.
Scorpion's like, oh, yes.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's like I can whip ass. Do they fight?
I don't think Scorpion fights Green Lantern.
That is such a mistake.
Liu Kang sees the Flash and he says, there's some sort of red demon with a lightning bolt on his chest.
Really?
Yeah. I only saw the Mortal Kombat side of the story because they could be both, but
I mean, don't waste too much of your life. We're
on 3 hours of Mortal Kombat.
I know, and it still kind of boggles my mind. There are people out there who are diehard fans of each of these characters. They've got to be. I knew people who were obsessed with the Flash. Never understood that. But imagine a Liu Kang fan, like, for the past 10 years, they're like, oh, they done him dirty. Fuck them.
As far as characters in the Mortal Kombat franchise that I could see people wanting to get tattoos of and having a lot of like
Raiden.
Fierce following, I wouldn't even put Raiden in there, but there will be Raiden fans. It's Scorpion, it's Sub-Zero.
Shao Kahn, maybe.
Johnny Cage. Some people could have like some ironic, like this guy's fucking hilarious and I love him.
There is a part of me.
I love Johnny Cage.
If I were a fan
hilarious.
of Johnny Cage, I would just get Johnny written on my arm or something.
No.
That'd be hilarious.
I'd get sunglasses with Johnny written underneath.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Or I'd get the autographed picture of him.
I'm going to get my entire arm tattooed silver, and then it's just going to say Jax.
Kung Lao's hat would be a cool tattoo.
Kung Lao's hat.
If there's anyone out there that's a hardcore Baraka fan,
I can picture it right now. There is someone like this probably. I'm actually going to look this up, by the way. Baraka tattoos. But I can picture it. You know how some people have tattoos where it looks like someone's like ripping out of their skin?
Yeah.
Someone has that with Baraka, I promise.
And at least Wolverine, if you're going to have a guy with claws or spikes coming out of his arm, he's got character development. Baraka is very one note.
Oh, Brad, I was so right. I was so right. Oh my God.
What did you Google?
Baraka tattoos.
Just Baraka tattoos. Okay.
There are so many Baraka tattoos. And this one's really nice. Someone has this on their arm.
That's a big one.
Someone has this on their arm.
It looks fantastic. It looks really great.
They did excellent work.
I'm just wondering why Baraka was your chosen character. So Mortal Kombat 9, though, it's a retelling
of the first three games.
It is great seeing them all in high fidelity.
Yeah.
Compared to back then.
Sure, yeah. They even keep like the 90s aesthetic. Everyone kind of looks their part.
And they fill in some of the background. Some characters, such as Cyrax and Sector are at the first tournament. You know that Kung Lao was there.
Nightwolf was there too.
Nightwolf was there. Scarlet, even a character that never existed that was only rumored of being there. Scarlet sucks.
With a K.
She's a Shao Kahn general who uses blood magic. She kills people with blood, which is gross.
I mean, it's sick. It's cool.
It's
but
art. It's art.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was just watching someone with too much power not know what they're doing and fucking everything up in a big way. They eventually get to, we're talking about Raiden.
Yeah, I mean,
He eventually gets to where he's going, but he gets Kung Lao killed. He gets Liu Kang killed. He gets Sub-Zero turned into a robot.
yep.
He fucked up a whole bunch.
Yes, he did.
Like the retelling made me just realize I'm not a big Raiden fan. I used to love him before, but I think he's an elder god who doesn't know what he's doing, and he's too hasty with his power.
Throughout the 3 games, they give him a decent character arc.
I think he's finally humbled by the end of it.
I think he has to be.
Once he realizes that he has killed Liu Kang 1 billion times, and he's like, oh, wait a second. I thought I would never do this again, and I've done it 1 billion times.
It's like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't be against you.
Are we the bad guys?
Shinnok's amulet was bad?
How could this have happened?
Yeah, he's not very likable in these ones. His design is cool as shit.
I love Cabal as a character, and I love seeing...
Do you?
I do. I mean, I love that he is disfigured, and his super speed is... it's poorly conceived, but I do like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
He's a fun character to play as.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the disfigured, maimed characters, and I like that Kano was the one that kind of fixed him, but he was the person that was supposed to turn evil, and he's like, nah, fuck you. You're still a bad guy. It's interesting that you actually see all 1, 2, and 3, and I didn't know when it was going to stop, and I couldn't believe that this one game did the entire trilogy in one game. To me, they could have drawn this out and gotten more legs out of it, you know.
I mean, yeah. So like the cutscenes, they generally amount to about 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
When you put them together for each game.
Roughly, yeah. That's about it.
This one was by far the shortest. There was a lot of condensed things going on. Obviously, this was a soft reboot. It was just called Mortal Kombat, and most people just call it 9 because now...
Yeah, or MK 2011.
X or 10, and then 11. Because 11 went right back to the number convention.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people bought Xbox 360. They bought the PlayStation 3. They just knew that they needed kind of just a clean slate.
They had gotten way too far out
Yeah.
there into the weird zone.
Yeah.
And let's get back to what people care about.
Yep.
The original trilogy.
And then giving it a twist allows new players to come in and understand these characters.
Yeah.
But then it gives you a continuation for everyone else.
It's FF7 remake to an extent.
Yes.
Yes.
Spoilers. Right?
Yeah.
Technically.
At this point, if you haven't
If you
played
don't
it yet,
know, then I guess,
you're
yeah. I can appreciate that. I think that's a very creative way
Yeah.
to actually make sure that this, whatever you want to call it, continuity with a K continues.
Yeah. Continuity with 10 Ks somehow. There's
Somehow.
a fuckload of Ks in there. Yeah.
Continue.
Speaking of too many Ks, let's move on to Mortal Kombat X with Kotal Khan.
Kotal Khan's cool.
I love Kotal Khan.
He's like this weird blue Aztec warrior.
Did you know that Kotal Khan actually lived on Earthrealm for a while with
Really?
the Mayan civilization? They
Is that
worship
why?
him as a god.
Oh, I had no clue.
And then once that civilization died, he just noped out and went back to the Outworld.
I fucking love him. He's cool as fuck.
You know what is both disappointing and makes me like him even more is almost every character who fights Kotal Khan in the story beats him. Like, Kotal Khan doesn't beat anybody. It's like, oh, bud. But he's out there. He's not cutthroat, but he is trying to do the best for Outworld. He's always looking out for the people. And he says, Melina, let's work together. You're fucking this up. He's never just, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. He's just a leader trying to do the right thing.
He's so interesting.
He bones Jade. Him and Jade just have a thing going on.
Oh, yeah, but that's like implied off screen.
No, they once
Really?
MK11 when
Well, no. It's like introduced to you in 11.
it probably is introduced in 11, but
It is.
I don't know. Kotal Khan, to me at first I was, who's this guy? But then every time I saw him, I really liked him.
He's fun to play as too. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a good player.
I love at the beginning of Mortal Kombat 10. It's Shinnok ramps up pretty fast right at the beginning, and Johnny Cage.
It's just like a time skip. Yeah.
Because Johnny Cage beats Shinnok at the first chapter of the game.
Yeah.
Because he's threatening Sonya, and Johnny Cage realizes he has warrior powers or something.
Yeah. The weird
And that's
magic.
when she says, "Thanks, Johnny." He goes, She called me Johnny." He didn't even care about beating Shinnok. He's like, "She called me Johnny."
Oh,
like-
right.
He's like, "Dude, that's at least an HJ."
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
She's probably got an iron grip too. And then there's that time skip.
20 years. All of a sudden, we have the Mortal Kombat kids.
The combat kids.
We briefly mentioned them before. Sonya and Johnny's girl, Cassie. Jax's girl, Jackie. Kenshi's kid, Takeda. And then we have Kung Lao's cousin, Kung Jin. And they do a lot of legwork to endear these characters to us. They do a lot of work.
They tried very hard.
And I think they did like almost all the right moves. I think the character design for Takeda and Kung Jin were very weak.
It's probably why they didn't show up in this one.
I did like Takeda's bow and arrow.
It's like the Muppet Babies, man.
It's like the Muppet Babies.
It is. It's like cool. Like they're like facsimiles of the actual thing. I don't understand. Like you've really got a hard sell going on here.
It's tough. And they're all derivative. They're not unique, new, interesting characters. You have to make them all.
They're all variations on something that already exists.
That is a tricky line to walk. And I think that they spend so much time with Cassie in 10 and 11 that it works. And Cassie, eventually, I do care a lot about her. And when
Cassie's interesting.
And when Sonya dies in 11, and then she sees young Sonya the next, like that same day.
Their interactions are crazy. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
And I love that. And Jackie works too. She didn't work so much in 10, but in 11, seeing her interact with her dad, who was kind of mentally.
I just wish I knew one character trait that she had.
It's more of seeing how she relates to Jax, because Jax has become this old, mentally deficient warrior because he was a revenant for 20 years and he just doesn't know what's going on. He just wants to have a life. It's interesting seeing her relate to him, but she doesn't have any strong character traits other than her and Takeda have a budding romance. And Kung Jin is the first gay character in Mortal Kombat that's out in the open, which is great. Why didn't
Takeda help in 11?
I looked that up because Takeda and Kung Jin are not in 11 at all.
I know. That's a very weird thing.
So there's one toss away, throwaway line where someone asks, "Where is Takeda?" And Jackie goes, "That's classified."
Oh, he's off doing something.
He's on a mission that's more important than saving the universe.
That's pretty cool.
It's like Captain Marvel. She couldn't be here. Why? She's fighting one of her villains somewhere.
Oh, you think that Earth is the only thing in danger? Ugh, I hate Captain Marvel.
You think the universe is the only thing in danger? Because
there's a guy with a glove that can warp all of reality. I've got to protect other things too. Oh, I hate Captain Marvel in these movies.
They do a fair amount too. They do a fair amount though for the characters of the Mortal Kombat kids.
They tried. They gave him like a Guardians of the Galaxy style, like, we've got to make this work in order to save and to save like all of the realms.
There's one character that I'm most curious to hear your thoughts of design-wise.
Go for it.
Aaron Black.
Love him.
Love him. I wasn't sure.
I like him. He's so dumb, and he doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, do you know where he comes from? He's actually from the Wild West. Shang Tsung hired him to kill someone in the Mortal Kombat, like assassinate someone from the tournaments hundreds of years before, because he was afraid of somebody, and he hired Aaron Black in the Wild West, and then granted him immortality and sent him to Outworld afterwards. So he is actually a Wild West gunslinger.
That's kind of fucking sick.
That's much. Well, as soon as I learned that, my thoughts on Aaron Black changed. Instead of you are cosplaying in a bad way, you're actually just a dude from the Wild West who's still around.
Well, here's the thing. You get a fighting game, and you want these characters to be as distinct as possible, because if you're putting them on the same screen together, you have to know which one's you, and you have to be able to like read their animations.
Yeah.
They didn't do Wild West guy yet.
Yeah.
Go for it, man.
And he's either very dumb or extremely cool looking. And I'm mostly on the side of cool looking.
The dumbness makes him cool. Because if you're taking Mortal Kombat seriously to begin with, that's a big problem. So like if you can just be lighthearted about him, he's fantastic.
I was surprised to learn he was a new character.
I thought he was in other ones too.
Because he just seems like someone that would be in other ones.
Well, they introduce him like you know who he is.
Who else we got? We got Devora, which
you know
we briefly talked about.
She does it all for the hive, baby.
But she always makes the decision that's best for her.
Yeah.
She's a Kano. She's a mercenary. I'm just not inspired by the character design of a yellow bug-like lady with 4.
I like bug attacks. Like she summons swarms. She does all this other stuff. I
like
think
that.
that's an interesting idea.
And we briefly mentioned Jackie Briggs. I like that she has guns guns on her arms.
Yeah, the gauntlet guns.
Like she can like punch and shoot. And there's a few points where she's just shooting with her arms, which
Yeah.
looks cool. And I think that's a nice spin.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Spin on Jax. We have the characters of Farah/Tor.
Very interesting.
People didn't like this character. I thought it was fascinating.
I think it's really interesting. They're like bonded and they can't like separate.
I'm curious if this is something that happens traditionally, or these two found each other and it worked out.
Well, they're the muscle for Kotal Khan.
Mm-hmm.
That's like their story. Interesting to play as them too. Super slow, methodical. They're characters you actually think about though.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a good design. It doesn't matter what you actually think that they can do. I don't know if you've ever played the BlazBlue series of fighting games.
No.
Or Guilty Gear.
Oh, that one.
But those fighters, you know who you're fighting as.
Yeah.
Because they spent a lot of time making those characters. And their distinction only adds to their value.
And I think that's something that they're doing with the 9, 10, and 11 games a lot more, where they are, even if the new characters might not have the most interesting design work or background, they have unique fighting styles, and they have given a little more thought to how they fight.
Yeah.
Which is great, instead of, this is Moloch.
His kick is this many frames faster than the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't deal with that type of stuff. It just makes me angry. I still get upset at Echo Fighters and Smash Brothers. I'm like, really?
To me, it's harmless.
It's harmless, but it's also kind of like, yeah.
Frivolous.
But people get excited about it, and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to judge you on it.
So then we also have Takeda Takahashi. That is, of course, Kenshi's son. It's interesting to note that
He's got whips.
early in the game with Shinnok, when the Revenants were there and Shinnok was killed, also Raiden resurrected Johnny Cage with his magic, but also it brought back Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Jax from the Revenants. So this is our first time seeing human Scorpion in this game, Hanzo Hasashi.
Looks good.
And dude, he is amazing. And then we also have Kuai Liang as human Sub-Zero. It's fucking great seeing them lead their factions and deal with the fact that they have a long history with each other, but they're also, all right, let's work together. This isn't going to be easy, but let's just be mature and sit down and have tea. And then you have Frost show up and try and kill Scorpion, and Sub-Zero has to kill her and is like, sorry.
Surprisingly enough, I think the reason I found X so interesting as a story is that it really was truly just about redemption and fessing up to things and following through on your promises to do better. Mm-hmm. That's really what it was. And it was an actual through line for the story.
I mean, it was great because you saw these characters 20 years later. You saw Johnny Cage fully realized and understanding that I used to be a dickhead.
Yeah.
I'm here to do the right thing now.
Yeah.
And also him confronting Sonya. Hey, just because Raiden's insane, this is at Mortal Kombat 11 right then, but when he confronts Sonya, just calm down. Think about your family a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she goes and gets killed that mission.
Yeah.
Because Raiden went crazy and forced her to go out there.
Yeah. We've got to be proactive.
No, you don't, bitch.
And he literally says, yeah, man, we're a family. Like, he was I feel so bad for Johnny in 11 because he really got shit end of the stick the entire time. It's literally just like, you know what? We've saved Earthrealm so many times. Could you not find anyone else that could do a relatively okay job besides the American military? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
This is a thought that went through my head. I'm like, yes, you're very adept at fighting them, but every time you go into this place, over half of your squadron gets fucking knifed in the eyes.
Mortal Kombat 10, though, it's still not the extra time travel fuckery.
No, it's not, because that's
yet.
in 11.
There was 2 other new characters. Tremor, previously of Mortal Kombat Special Forces. He's the brown ninja.
Gray, I thought he was the gray one.
I think he's the brown ninja. He's the earth ninja.
Okay.
That's all that I have to say about him.
Yeah, okay. Continue.
Triborg, which is...
Triborg!
We have been watching all 3 ninjas, and we assimilated them into one Borg.
Yep.
Dumb shit.
Stupid.
Cassie Cage is tricked into killing Shujinko, preventing Onaga in this timeline. Cassie Cage is the one who defeats Shinnok at the end, which I think is cool. Raiden is incredibly pissed at the end of this game, which I like it as a teaser for the end of the game, where he says, "That's it. We're not taking anything else.
Yep.
Any threat to Earth is perceived as we're destroying your realm from now on."
Yeah, and then he takes the amulet.
And I love the beginning of 11 where Shinnok says, "You can't kill me." He said, "There are fates worse than death."
Yes.
Cuts his head off and throws it in another realm. It's like, all right.
He just hangs. He's like, yeah, you can't breathe. Doesn't that suck?
Dude, and Shinnok, when you see his head never able to talk, that's insane. Because I always thought at some point when they showed up to, like, there are people in front of the head.
You know, it's funny.
If the head is moving, I thought that they would have a moment talking with the head. No, that head doesn't talk anymore.
So it's not it's not even like the last time in this game that he dooms someone to an eternity of suffering.
Yeah.
If you remember, what's the name of the...
Geras?
Geras.
Dude, that Geras thing is amazing.
Yes. And then he like wraps him up in those chains like, oh, it's too heavy. He's
Geras,
like,
you can't kill me.
Well, then you will drown forever,
Well, he
basically.
said, sorry that the sea of blood is bottomless. That sucks for you, dude.
Oh, my God.
I know. When I heard that, it kind of made me queasy in a good way, you know?
Dude, the effects of the Sea of Blood look awesome.
Looks fantastic.
It looks so sick.
All right. So, I mean, this was a smart move, I think, MK11, because after Shinnok, do we go back into the Onaga bullshit, the Blaze bullshit? Nope. We introduce a new character with Kronika.
I had a weird crush on her.
She's a woman, you know?
I mean, it's not that she was like beautiful. I'm like, I would be like time slave for her.
And that's how Dylan went to the dark side. We have officially lost Sky Guy.
Sky
and
Guy.
Now Whiteout is the only person. Whiteout versus Sky Guy.
I come back as Ultra Sky Guy.
Oh no, and I come out as Water God Whiteout.
Oh, Water God Whiteout.
Worst.
That just sounds like.
It also makes sense though in the Mortal Kombat timeline.
It sounds like you like spunked your pants and you can't.
Water King, Water God,
Water God, baby.
Titans are kind of a newer thing. They've only briefly mentioned them, where Titans are kind of more powerful than Elder Gods, but less powerful than whatever the one. They
don't explain it well.
It's never properly thought out. But Kronika is a Titan. Mm-hmm. She is Shinnok's mommy.
As well as Cetrion.
Cetrion,
thank you.
And Cetrion and Shinnok are good and evil, and she likes to have a balance. Kronika is the Titan that controls the sands of time.
I do have a question, though, because if Shinnok is also an Elder God, and when Raiden's like making his plea to all of them, there's a big circle of other ones.
The Elder Gods have strict rules when they can intervene.
Yeah, but when someone is interrupting like the flow of time, that's like tantamount whatever.
They don't have powers over the Titans though.
Okay.
I guess. And I think
I'm not a story doctor, so I don't know.
They might all be begotten of Titans. We don't know. That's never.
Oh, well, that actually might be true.
I don't know.
Because if Kronika made two of them.
Because they never really properly explained that. But since Raiden has gone back in time and caused the big death of Shinnok, this upsets the balance of good and evil, and she has created a million different universes where Raiden and Liu Kang end up killing each other.
She keeps restarting them. That's the implication.
What is the most interesting part of this game is that she creates the massive time rift where the Mortal Kombat 2 era fighters, this is after MK2, before MK3.
Yeah.
Because Jax has metal arms. That's how I know that's when it takes place.
Yeah, because you see him get ripped out in 9.
It's interesting that characters are able to talk to their old selves. And eventually it almost balances out to the new characters and old characters all die off to where there's only one of each iteration.
Yeah, it's a good choice. It's a good choice.
It's cool having old Scorpion meet Hanzo Hasashi, and Hanzo's like, dude, I know how you're feeling. Scorpion's like, fuck you.
He's like, shit, damn.
And eventually, after Devora stings him, like, gotcha, bitch. And Hanzo dies. Scorpion's like, I'm angry again, but at you.
This is so comic booky. It's a little much at times.
This, I think, did a really good job at making me care more about Cassie. Seeing her have to deal with a hard-headed younger Sonya. And seeing her say, you left my body. Also, older you told me to leave it there.
She's like, oh.
I don't know if you're my mom or not right now because you're being weird. So
right.
Fuck off. That's that Freaky Friday time conundrum bullshit that's just interesting to think about.
Well, I also found Ronda Rousey's voice acting extremely distracting.
Who is Ronda?
Ronda Rousey, she's like a famous...
No, I know who she is, but who did she voice?
Sonya.
Oh, she's the voice of Sonya, huh?
Didn't it sound off from the other one?
I couldn't tell.
There are some times where she reads lines just like this. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know any other of the younger characters. It's fun watching the Kanos interact. Young Cabal is cool to see when he was still Super Black Dragon.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because just seeing that like pimped out coat that he wears is fun.
Yeah.
The new characters from MK11, Cetrion, all that I really put was that she's the good side, opposite of Shinnok.
Can't explain anything
Geras
about her.
is the most uninteresting character / character design ever.
I saw him in this, and I said, was he introduced elsewhere?
And I said, is he a background character or a main character? I didn't know if he was going to be a main character or not.
No, you can fight with him.
The only interesting payoff for his character was that how Raiden killed him.
And so he can't die either. That's another one of his things.
Kronika.
Magic. Cool. Let's roll with it.
The only other new character that's not one of those types of characters is the Collector, which I wasn't sure initially is that forearm dude. And he's got his arms behind him like that.
And he's like strapped into like this wheel.
I wasn't sure if that was Goro just malnourished and just tortured forever, because that would have been interesting to me if you took Goro.
It would have been more interesting.
Dude, if you took Goro and just beat the shit out of him and depleted him down to that would have been fascinating. I didn't know who Collector was, though.
Well, maybe I'd like to get clever or something. That would be... I don't know. I didn't understand him as a character.
He's not a Shokan warrior. He's a different kind of forearm.
He's a debt collector. For what?
He's Shao Kahn's tax keeper and tribute collector.
So
someone's got to do that.
They show a very complicated scene where he's being like twisted in the arena on this giant wheel. Mm-hmm. I was so confused. I'm like, I thought the implication was, oh, you know this guy, right? You know, when you're young and you watch like Toonami and like there's an episode of an anime and you just have to make assumptions about characters that they're showing you on screen sometimes. I didn't see the whole thing, but I can kind of see what's going on with these characters. I assumed that I was supposed to know who this guy was.
They never gave him an introduction in this game, and that is a problem to me.
They don't even give him an arc.
He has a brief moment in Aftermath where he just says, "Shang Tsung, why are you here?" And that's it.
Then what's the point?
I don't know. I didn't know why they introduced him. I didn't know what was going on. And I know Ed Boon said it was difficult to animate him because his arms, because they animate by skeletons.
Yeah.
And they said that was weird.
Yeah. So I have a feeling he's just a remnant of something that they thought about taking away, but they said we put too much work in this.
Like, maybe they were considering Goro or something, because to me, a malnourished Goro abused for 50 years is interesting as fuck.
That's very cool.
I would have preferred that in a big way. At the end, though, we get Fire God Liu Kang after all this bullshit where Liu Kang fuses with Raiden.
Yep.
And to me, that was interesting. And even Kronika has this great line when Fire God Liu Kang shows up. She's like, well, it is a novelty anyways. And I was like, you just thought what everyone was thinking. You know?
Yep.
Fire God Liu Kang beats Kronika and is now in charge of the timeline. And then we get the Aftermath expansion.
Yeah. This one bored the crap out of me.
Well, to me, that you retconned into Mortal Kombat 9 and you redid everything, and 9, 10, and 11 did this, and then you had to retcon back into 11 again. Yeah. And to me, this is getting desperate. I guess it's also an expansion on a time travel story to an extent. But wait, so you have 9.
It's just more for the people who want it.
You go back into 9, 10, 11, and then in 11, you bring things from 9 into 11, the characters. And this, if that's not confusing enough, and then I had to try and remember that now there's a new timeline taking place in with multiple characters. My brain quit being able to perceive what was happening.
I was able to keep up, but the problem was I didn't care. Well, here's the thing. Go get the MacGuffin. It's never a great plot line for anything.
Yeah.
It's Rise of Skywalker. It's just like, oh, you forgot about the crown. Oh, without the crown, you can't do it. I'm like, really? Is that true? Because Kronika wasn't wearing the crown when she manipulated all this shit.
Yeah. What does work for me in a big way is Shang Tsung.
Oh, he's so good.
Shang Tsung.
Delightful.
Dude,
the only good part.
I never knew that like a digital character could chew the scenery, but dude, he is in there and literally every line he says, he has just got this shit-eating grin where he knows he's in charge.
Where he I like when he turns away and he goes, it's an eyebrow raise. It's so slick. That was a good impression, right?
You nailed it.
Oh, and you knew he was shit from the beginning.
Everyone does.
And it's funny that they paired him with
Nightwolf,
two of
and Fujin,
the apparently shitty characters. And then Raiden is just like, oh, Fujin, my brother. And like, if you had only been playing this trilogy, how the fuck would you know who Fujin is? He's not in any of the other ones.
Right.
And Nightwolf, you would have known.
Yeah.
Fujin, no.
No. And yeah.
Truly, this DLC was not made for new fans. It's that idea where DLC is often just made for fans.
Yeah.
Because they know that a lot of people are just going to buy the $60 game and that's it.
To me, it makes sense though, because if you're going to have a new story with a new ragtag group, you need to have the God character.
Yeah.
And Raiden's younger brother, who Fujin technically is a good stand-in. Oh, he doesn't do anything interesting other than I'm kind of the God character.
Yeah,
Nightwolf is great because he is the more grounded character, but Shang Tsung is the hero of the expansion.
Yes.
Because even the last part of it, you're only playing as bad characters beating the shit out of good characters.
Well, and you can choose to have an ending with him.
Oh, man. And this is when I realized, even though Shang Tsung, I don't want to say, like, when I say sucks, it's not the character sucks, but you kind of hate him in a great way. Just every character that sees him, literally everyone.
Yeah.
Why is he here? Why are we talking with him? And Shang Tsung's like, why would I not be here? I'm here to help. Am I a bad guy?
Dude, he like negs people and then he's like, like the pig. He's got like some pickup artist shit going on. He really does.
He knows what he's doing. Oh,
no, he's just like in the hands of incapable writers, an actor. I don't think this could have been successful at all. But I think the pairing of it was just so convincing. Like, even when the other characters were doubting him, I'm like, what other option do you have? Just go with Shang Tsung. It doesn't fucking matter.
Shang Tsung, we need to resurrect Sindel. Literally not what we should do right now. Everyone says, okay. But there's the moment there where Liu Kang pulls Fujin aside. And he said,
come on, I guess.
Keep an eye on him. I'm going to stick around.
Yeah.
And Nightwolf says, we shouldn't do this. Resurrect Shao Kahn's wife. And then Sindel reveals a twist that hasn't been revealed before, that she actually wanted to do Shao Kahn.
Yep.
And if that's true, then the original timeline, she was doing a very long con with a katana where they ruled the Dini together for like 10 years. But I'm fine with that though too, because if Shao Kahn was in hiding, maybe that was a long plan that they had. Outworlders and Adenians live for thousands of years. 10 years is not a big deal.
It's not.
No.
I liked Aftermath fine, but there were some real yawn inducers. It was not an organic story.
It wasn't something that needed to happen, but when the steam picks up in the end, when Shao Kahn and Sindel and Shang Tsung are all like moving together, and there's like this huge early trilogy villain push. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that, and
I like when he turns into his younger self when he's wearing the time crown.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like he did in the first Mortal Kombat movie.
And I imagine the Liu Kang, Fire God Liu Kang ending, because you choose at the end who you want to be. I imagine that will be canon.
It is. Now, hold on.
We don't know. And it would be very interesting if they wanted to go Shang Tsung as canon for the expansion, because they could.
I don't think there's anywhere else to take this story. I don't think they're going to bring back these characters in the exact same way. I think they're going hard reboot after this.
Well, at the end of MK10 before the expansion, you know what? He goes back, Fire God Liu Kang, and he talks to the early great hero Kung Lao.
Yeah.
And that is, we're rebooting.
Smirks.
We're rebooting.
It's a reboot.
But it'll be fun. I mean, it'd be fun to do the first Mortal Kombat tournament with, instead of Raiden, it's Fire God Liu Kang, and there could be some subtle twists, new characters, whatever.
Yeah.
That first trilogy is the golden era where they need to bounce around, and those characters, that's what they need to do.
This is their opportunity to even like create new ones that show up.
It could be more fun though if instead Shang Tsung was in charge of the timeline. I don't know. I'm just being devil's advocate.
I'm intrigued, but even in his ending, he becomes like this giant, and the only thing he hasn't conquered is Chaos Realm and Order Realm.
Oh, is that I haven't seen the ending for Shao.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, Raiden and Fujin are like his like slaves, and he sends them out to like do his bidding for him, and then it literally shows them reporting back to him, and he's giant, like he's probably 20 feet tall.
I don't want to say that I'm into that, but Raiden should be punished for his sins, and Shang Tsung is the best to punish him.
Yeah, but poor Fujin. And
Yeah, poor Fujin. Okay, poor Fujin.
but they report to him and they're like, all the realms except for Order Realm and Chaos Realm have been subjugated. He literally looks like Thanos in when they show him for the first time in Guardians of the
Sitting in
Galaxy.
the chair.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
literally just looks like that.
I mean, that's where we are now. I do imagine the Liu Kang ending is the canon ending.
It's got to be. I don't see them taking it anywhere else. They have already said there are more Injustice games. There are more Mortal Kombats. We won't see Mortal Kombat for a bit because the next one will probably be Injustice 3.
If they're smart, they'll take their time and think about the next game rather than put Hsu Hao, have a spin-off series. We're having Drummond and Moloch have their own... dude, if Drummond and Moloch had a Cartoon Network spin-off where it was two demons fucking around another realm, that could work.
If people gave a shit.
If it had to be irreverent and not related to Mortal Kombat barely at all.
Yeah, so it'd be like Harvey Birdman.
Also, we're in the realm of a Mortal Kombat movie re-release, like a new series.
2021, supposedly. Originally, it was supposed to be Justin Lin, who did a lot of Fast and the Furious stuff.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sure.
I'm not sure who's tapped to do it right now.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Matt at Better in 3D, Matt and Allison over there.
I'm not sure he would know. Oh,
Did you
man.
know that the Mortal Kombat soundtrack is the first platinum selling EDM soundtrack of all time?
Really?
No, the first EDM album of all time is the Mortal Kombat soundtrack. The first platinum selling EDM album.
That doesn't surprise me.
Final thoughts on the series. Overall, I dig the lore. I mean, I'm still interested in the characters.
I expected this to be a real snooze, and I was put on my heels a little.
I was surprised that I remember thinking that I was excited about the Sonic lore. I'm like, I want to get into this. And then I realized I don't want to get into this. Mortal Kombat.
You could still get in it.
It's still cool, man.
We'll
still
do the
good.
Archie Comics Sonic one day.
And even the Blaze and the Onaga, it's interesting enough in the lore of the universe. I like seeing how they went wrong and then how they corrected their course. It was someone that rose and fall and rose again.
Well, it's been around for so long, you might as well call these like almost like James Bond movies. Like when you have a storied history and you release semi-regularly, I think it's one of the few things you can compare it to.
And if you want to support us on the $2,000 Patreon tier, we'll talk about Sub-Zero mythologies. We'll talk about Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, and we'll talk about Special Forces with Jax. We'll beat all three of them. For $2,000, we'll beat all three of those games.
Oh, yeah. And we'll do it live on stream.
We didn't talk about those so much, but that's okay.
I don't. I like the fighting games.
Here,
I'm going to stick with
I'll
those.
sum it up in 2 sentences. Special Forces, you play as Jack. You fight Kano once, you rip his eye out. That's it. Shaolin Monks, retelling of Mortal Kombat 2. Liu Kang and Kung Lao. It's a co-op fighting game. Kind of cool. Mythology Sub-Zero. Incredibly bad gameplay, incredibly important story moments, and incredibly bad acting. Fun to watch the acted out scenes because they shot it very quick. Those are those three. Skip the $2,000 Patreon tier. We just did it for you.
Don't skip it. If you got the money to throw around, I think it'd be fine.
We will play those. We will play those.
I would probably dance like a monkey for you too. So.
And Dylan said he will have a Rule 34 Patreon tier of $1,000. He will draw any character in a Rule 34 status for $1,000.
I absolutely will.
Final thoughts on Mortal Kombat, Dylan?
You know what? I'm kind of a fan now. I was watching some of those movie compilations, and I found myself actually going like,
more into it than you thought you would.
I was like, yeah, all right. I'm like, I'm feeling this. Like, I care about what these characters are going through. You know what? I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat now. I never thought I was, and now I am.
I am as well. I didn't realize how much I cared. It's 9, 10, and 11 that got me back.
I think those are really the only ones you can feasibly enjoy these days.
Especially, I think 5, 6, and 7 were bad when they released, and they have probably aged even worse.
Oh, they have to.
And I'm actually
think
curious,
about those textures and low poly.
If I can find any of those games for maybe $5 at a used game store, I'm going to buy them because I'm curious. Because I do want to check them out, but I mean, the middle trilogy is the Dark Ages.
I don't think you'd actually have trouble finding them.
No, I don't think I would.
You could probably find them on Amazon for like $1.
But yeah, I like the series. I like the characters. We love Scorpion. We love Sub-Zero. We love Johnny Cage. You guys are cool people. Sonya Blade, I'd buy you a beer. Cassie Cage, heck, I'll buy you a beer too, or a juice cup depending on when it comes out.
Give her a little kiss on the cheek. You know?
Don't give me one of your kiss fatalities though. I'll tell you that much.
I just want to kiss Kronika.
I want a hug from Shiva. She can grab my butt and give me a solid hug at the same time.
Oh my God. We have talked about Mortal Kombat for a long time.
Yep. We've been Raw Dogs. Yes, so this was our Patreon episode. If you are one of our Patreon members, thank you so much for supporting us. It's because of people like you that we can help pursue this hobby, because we're not making money. This is not our livelihood, but we put a lot of time and effort into this because we care about video games and we care about y'all.
Yes, we do.
So if you support us, we appreciate that. If you're listening to this episode months afterwards, when it finally does come out to non-Patreon members, thank you for listening as well. If you would consider dropping us a couple bucks, it does make a difference. And
also, let us know how the Wasteland is.
The Wasteland?
Well, yeah, I assume that in the future, all things turn into Wasteland.
When this comes out. Is there still Diet Mountain Dew? Because no one cares.
Well, Tom would, and so would my mom.
Oh, Tom does drink Diet Mountain Dew.
I like Diet Mountain Dew. Reminds me of home.
Oh, man.
Pretty sick, huh?
I thought you were cooler than Baraka, but now I'm not sure.
Well, I would love to be equal to Baraka.
No, dude, you're cooler than Baraka. You're cooler than Katana.
I don't know. I'm not sexy enough.
You're cooler than Bi-Han, maybe not Kuai Liang.
I'm just aiming for Bo, baby.
All Right Joe is probably the Mortal Kombat character that best represents the Raw Dogs. Some farting, drinking, Kung Fu masters.
Why wasn't he the one that defeated Kronika?
He should have been the one that won every Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yes, because like a fart can really distract someone and then you can destroy them. Oh
my brain over the next week, because I have vacation for the next week, I'm going to forget everything about Mortal Kombat and just start thinking about more video games.
I'm going to try, but there's going to be a point in a conversation with Allie where I'll just be like, you know, I don't think Raiden was that bad.
This reminds me of...
She'll be like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I don't know. It's just been swirling around. I've got no other options. I'm unemployed, baby.
You can find us at Hair of the Dogcast on Instagram and Facebook. We're at Hot Dogcast on Twitter. We're both half drunk and tired of talking about Mortal Kombat.
Oh, I mean, I'm sober at this point.
Hsu Hao.
Hsu Hao.
More like Shu, why not?
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. We love you. Get over here. Blah, blah,
Bloody
blah.
blue.